My name is Jordan Burrs and I'm going to be your host on the Odd Shopper channel for the entire FIFA 2022 World Cup. Around the world, we call it football, but for you Americans, I'll call it soccer in these videos. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my group stage predictions, who I think is going to end first all the way to fourth, some teams and favorites you should watch out for, and definitely some underdogs that shouldn't go beneath your radar. Before that though, DraftKings has an amazing offer for you. All you have to do is bet $5 pre-game on any money line, and if you win it, you will receive $200 straight into your bankroll. Some advice I would say to you is pick a money line with super low odds so you're almost guaranteed to win it. A couple of those games happening this weekend are the Baltimore Ravens at -660 against the Carolina Panthers. And then in some college football this week, we've got Tennessee over South Carolina at -2,400, which is basically a 97% hit rate. Don't be silly, take your free money, get in on those low odd money lines, take the money, build your bankroll ahead of this FIFA World Cup so that you can be here every day with me, betting daily on every single football game. Moving into Group A. Now in Group A, we see three-time losing finalists Netherlands, AFCON winners Senegal, the host Qatar, and the South American qualifiers Ecuador. On first glance, Netherlands look like the clear favorites in this group. They are 15 games undefeated. In their past 10 FIFA World Cup tournaments, they've managed to make it out of the group stage every single time. We saw how well they did in the Nations League, and they probably have the best defense in the World Cup. Van Dijk, De Ligt, De Vrij, Dumfries, Timber, the list goes on. This Netherlands side is here, and they're one of the underdogs that I would keep my eye on across this World Cup. Then moving on to Qatar, the host nations. They're trying to become the second host nation not to be eliminated at the group stage. Obviously, that happened in 2010 when South Africa failed to qualify for their own World Cup. To be honest, I don't have much faith in Qatar. I'm putting Qatar in that number 4th position. We've then got Ecuador and Senegal battling for that second spot. There's Germany, 2010 winners Spain, an underrated Japan team, and a CONCACAF qualifier, Costa Rica. Now starting off with Costa Rica, just because they are the serious underdogs in this group, they actually do have some World Cup history themselves. Back in 2014, they actually topped their group, holding Italy, England, and Uruguay. So don't think Costa Rica can't top this group. I know the team's old, they shouldn't be able to do it, and I don't think they will, but don't be surprised if Costa Rica pull off a miracle here. I've got Costa Rica in 4th. That leaves Japan, Spain, and Germany. Now Japan can be a feisty team, but I just don't think they have what it takes to take on these world giants, Spain and Germany. So I'm putting Japan in 3rd, which then leaves Spain and Germany. Spain are lacking a number 9 up front that is in form. Ever since David Villa retired, they haven't really been able to fill his boots. However, I do think the midfield of Gavi, Pedri, Sergio Busquets, and Rodrigo will fill those boots, and Spain should be able to top the group here. I've got Spain in 1 and Germany in 2. Group F. Now we've got two very successful teams from the 2018 World Cup. Belgium, who finished 3rd, and Croatia, who finished runners-up to France. We've then got Canada, who are appearing in their 2nd ever World Cup, and Morocco, who are appearing in their 2nd World Cup in a row. Now, Belgium's golden generation has done well to put them on the map of the FIFA World Cup. However, a lot of those players have got older and are currently out of form, so the majority of the work is going to have to fall on Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku. Kevin De Bruyne is really going to have to keep this team together if they are to make it through to the knockout stages. We saw them stumble a little bit in the Nations League, losing both games to Netherlands, but bouncing back very nicely against Poland. We've then got Croatia, who were runners-up in 2018. Luka Modric played an absolutely phenomenal role in that team, winning the Golden Ball, and then later that year, winning the Ballon d'Or. He's going to have to do similar things this year to see Croatia go deep into the tournament. We've then got Canada. Now, I think Canada could surprise a couple of people. I wouldn't be surprised if Canada qualified out of this group. We saw them today beat Japan 2-1. Obviously, a lot is going to fall on Alphonso Davies, and they impressed in the CONCACAF qualification by finishing above Mexico.
To 1. Yeah. But of course, one of these fuckers is going to win.
I know. Yeah. Harry Higgs. Yeah.
Betting golf is actually more frustrating than playing golf.
Oh,
I never thought I'd find it. Seriously. Just be thankful that we don't have an NHA golf show here, because that would be like 3 hours of just talking back and forth on why we didn't take Callum Tarrant. My God. That's Geoff. I'm Eytan. Mike is producing. Mike is here. Geoff, I don't know if you know this, but he's buried in like 50 inches of snow. So
I mean, he looks like he's in a bunker right now.
I think
like he looks like he's got like the little gray background,
underground,
like the Soviet style, like 1980s, just like
right.
You have the codes to the nuke down there, Mike, or what? No?
I think so. Oh man, no snow by you though. You're good, Geoff.
The snow, but I mean, like it's actually like pretty nice out today, to be honest. So I mean, like it's not anything that I don't deal with on a
there's snow
year-to-year basis.
Right, where you are, they just call that Friday.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Same thing, I guess, for Mike as well. You guys, we're all in this awful climate here, and I don't know why any one of us are living in this god-awful climate, and we're all over the world, but it's that same just nastiness. So we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. It's the NHA NFL Strategy Show, absolutely. And I don't know if your mic was hot or not when you said this, but you might as well reiterate it, my friend, because this is not a juicy slate of all attention will be equal to every single game. Chances are that we might miss a game or two. It's ugly in some cases.
Yeah. I mean, like Patriots, Jets for props, just that ones I don't even want to touch. You got, Denver and Vegas, obviously. I mean, I'd like that game. I mean, people probably should be turning it off. There's a little bit of interest maybe on a couple running backs on the Commanders, but that game's, so yeah, there's a few spots here we can write off pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the easiest thing to do is just look at, if it's a game that jumps out. We have a couple of on our updated projections. We have two that really jump out. One that I think makes sense only because of the line, although if you're betting it, maybe a little different. So Taylor Heineke and Matt Ryan are right there at the top with an over and an under prop in the 80s. The only ones that we have in the 80 percentile, but maybe there's a game that jumps out at you in the early slate more so than that, or we can start right there at the top with our projections.
I mean, yeah, might as well talk about, we can talk about the Commanders off the top a little bit. Taylor Heineke, 185 passing line for the Pick'em contest. I think that'll be a popular one to go over on. I guess my only concern there is, just with how many times the Commanders ran the ball in their last game. I think they gave their running backs like 40 carries or something like that. So, you could see definitely reduced output, but we have it as projected as a very strong, over. You still got McLaurin on the outside there. So, I understand trusting that. You got actually a lot of quarterback props at the top because we have a lot of 1.5 INT lines, which I think we could just talk about across the board, how you want to attack that. All of them projected as unders, as you suspect. I mean, projecting if we're projecting a quarterback for a 2 interception game, that's like, that's bad. That's beyond bad. So even most of these guys we have projected for 1 INT, but for them to throw 2 is still that's a pretty big ask and especially a lot of these teams are going to be running the ball a lot. So I think the most comfort I'd have with just who I trust in these spots not to throw 2 picks. I think Mac Jones is fine. I think that the Patriots, I think there's just not going to be many pass attempts in that game by either side. We have Ryan as projected the best under, but he may be in the toughest matchup as well. So, you can kind of pick and choose there. I do think that using the unders on these guys with the 1.5 INT lines, and there's Ryan, Baker, Mac Jones, and Zach Wilson, I got some interested in because, again, they're not gifts, but these are strong projections we have for a reason. Like it's tough for a quarterback to throw two INTs in a game. It is. It just, you need 2 events to happen. So I think that using these props as unders is, even though some of them are going to be kind of chalky, I would be okay with it this week.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point here because like Matt Ryan, for example, I bet this already. I bet Matt Ryan over 1 interception at the books because it was over a half interception. Now, granted, I laid 145 on that, but Matt Ryan is atrocious. Like Matt Ryan turns the football over. He is the human. Now that Daniel Jones has gone, by the way, this is not me being unprofessional. My phone doesn't work. So in order for me to keep my phone on and connected to my computer that I can text people, I can't do anything to it. So it's stuck on non-vibrate. That's why you're hearing it right now. I don't want Geoff to be like, dude, I've worked with this guy enough to call him out and be like, come on, shut your fucking phone off. I can't. All right. I can't. I just want you to show you this. All right. I just wanted to get that out because it's still going to buzz. Matt Ryan turns the football over. I believe it's 7. I have the number here exactly. He has 12 turnovers in 8 games. So my only point in this is I love the under 81.1% for 1.5, but this might be the best contrarian play because Matt Ryan may not need as many attempts as, dare I say, Mac Jones or even Zach Wilson right now to throw to 2 picks. That's all I'm saying. Like, I love the 81.1. I'm with you, but you open up a larger conversation about these picks at 1.5. If you were going to be contrarian, I think Matt Ryan right there at the top would make the most sense.
Yes. And I think for another argument, and I agree with the Ryan call, if I'm going over on any one of these guys, I would take Ryan as well. I think he's the most likely to throw the ball 40 plus times in this spot. The Eagles, great first half team, could just come in, run the ball down the throat, get down 14. And then it's just, Matt Ryan dropping back because he's not taking off. Like, even Zach Wilson might run a little bit. Even Baker might run a little bit. Matt Ryan's not running, taking 4 rush attempts. Those are all dropbacks, all more chances for picks. So yeah, I agree. I don't really want to trust any of these guys to only throw 1 pick, but if I was picking a guy to throw 2 picks this weekend, other 4, it would definitely be Matt Ryan. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think you look at this, our projections are free on Stokastic. We have the optimal lineups as well. So you can mix and match what we have on site with how Geoff is building a strategy card here for you on No House Advantage. But we do talk about that as far as, not contrarian to the field, like the overall field, since we don't have ownership and those type of numbers for NHA contests, but we do have our projections. And I think the biggest thing that I've kind of learned doing these shows with you over and over again is you want to play multiple lineups and you want to tail our projections, but not having the overall ownership. The way that you can kind of skirt around that is to leverage what you think the majority of Stokastic people are going to go to, and you build a contrarian lineup to that. So again, that's not my first play, but if I'm building multiple lineups, that would be one that I would look at by all means with Matt Ryan. Mayfield is another one there. You start to look at a couple of other interceptions too. So they all make sense. Heineke, Daniel Jones has gone 6 straight games without a turnover.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And facing the Lions defense, not exactly a team that, is super opportunistic on defense either. So it's probably a team where, the Giants are going to be able to run the ball a lot again and just not have to throw it much. So yeah, taking under there on Daniel Jones. Absolutely. I can't say I hate it. I mean, we haven't projected for under 0.5 interceptions. That's probably the lowest interception prop I've ever seen just from our week to week projections. Like it's actually pretty crazy. So I think it's got a lot to do just with Daniel Jones and not only how the Giants are playing, but also who they're going up against this week. Project as favorites at home. Saquon probably, in a good matchup as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. And then, yeah, just looking down, like some of these, again, just sticking with the quarterback position, Matthew Stafford's there, as a guy, I don't mind targeting for an interception coming off. You got Dalton and Josh Allen projected as pretty solid overs for INTs. And again, these guys just have 0.5 INTs. So they just have to throw 1 to get us over there. But obviously Allen, struggling a late. Dalton is just Andy Dalton. So you feel good about that. But, these INT props, you could definitely mix and match here. I would probably feel best about Dalton of those 3 guys I just threw out.
Going over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
Daniel Jones, the thing about Jones you mentioned there, a lot of it does have to do with him improving and the matchup clearly with Detroit. But if you just look at the last couple of years, I mean, my God, Pat Shurmur, Jason Garrett, I don't know if Jason Garrett even knew Saquon Barkley. Now, granted, Barkley was hurt and banged up and stuff, but when that guy was healthy, I don't know if Shermer or Garrett or anybody else involved in the offense even knew what he looked like. Now, all of a sudden, you have such a healthy commitment to running the football, even if it's a back. Like Saquon went off the field with those other guys, and you knew automatically Daniel Jones was dropping back and throwing for 30, times, what have you. So I think that's a good point about everything around Daniel Jones working for him not to throw the ball. And on the flip side, my God, if you're Andy Dalton, you look around and you think, Dennis Allen, like, this is the team. Where is the coach that's going to stabilize Andy Dalton on that team? It's not going to happen. So you're right. I think he's definitely prone to throwing a pick, at least one, if not two.
Absolutely. And I mean, the Rams defense, they still have a fairly solid secondary, giving up more yards this year, but that's a secondary that, they're going to create picks against bad quarterbacks. So, again, quarterbacks, I think we kind of covered that position pretty well, actually. I mean, you can always look to the passing touchdowns here. But I don't have anything that jumps out. Like I definitely like kind of more the INT props. Yep. And again, a lot of the yardage props, just for the quarterbacks, definitely leaning to the underside. I will say this. Yeah, we're pretty bullish on Marcus Mariota in this spot this week. And I kind of get it, to be honest. I think that's kind of like a good contrarian one to go over 190.5 for the passing yards. I think that, with the way the Bears are playing, just with being more efficient on offense, it should give Atlanta a few more attempts. And it's just, again, it kind of speaks to the opponent. The Bears secondary allowing, just a lot of yards. So, yeah, it's not one that I would necessarily go crazy with, but like we do have Mariota projected for basically 200 yards. So I don't think many people are going to look at that 190 prop on Mariota and take the over. I know his industry prop is like way, way lower. Like, I mean, I bet it yesterday at like 163, I think, to go over. So there ain't going to be many people on the over here, but I would not be shocked if he ended up throwing for 200 yards, just because, again, like I think Fields is going to put that team under pressure to just play a little bit quicker, and it's going to lead to a few more dropbacks. So that was one, just when I'm looking through the passing yardage here, that I think I'd be okay going over on. A lot of these, though, I do like the under, and we have them projected as unders as well. So,
yeah, Zach Wilson, 1.5 line under. We have him projected for 1. I mean, Zach Wilson, if you look at the 3 games that he's played against the New England Patriots, he's 0-3, first off, straight up against the spread. And his TD to interception ratio is one that would lean towards him throwing. He's 2 to 7 is his TD to interception. So he's in 3 games against the Patriots, Geoff. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns. That's a slam for me to go under. And look, and I don't know what's changed in this game. Like 3 weeks ago, they were a 3-point road favorite. They beat the Jets. They won 2 games. Their defense has been insane. And now they're only laying 3.5 technically at home. So I don't know. I think Zach Wilson, that would be a strong one too.
That's a great call. I was kind of focused on his interception prop there,
but both I think work.
I like that one though. The underpassing touchdowns. I mean, what do the Jets want to do here? I mean, they want to run the ball. You mentioned New England's passing defense been a lot better. Zach Wilson in the red zone. I mean, just not really a quarterback I want to trust. So, yeah. And I mean, that game again, like I know the Buffalo game's been on everyone's mind, but that's not great weather at all there. Either 15-mile-per-hour winds, potentially 20, even colder weather. Yeah. That's a strong one for me. That's a start off, 7 to 10 point play for sure.
So we have a couple of other, you're right. A lot of quarterbacks, but look, quarterbacks are, I think, not easier, but I think you can get a grasp over a quarterback because they have so much influence on a game. For example, we can transition to a guy like Nick Chubb, who maybe surprisingly to a lot of people out there, Geoff, is only projected to rush for 73.4 yards. And in fact, this is a 70.5% smash for Alex and Stokastic to go under the no house advantage line of 85.5.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Especially because you look at what the Bills defense over the last couple of weeks have been doing. They've been giving up a lot of yards, man. I mean, over like what did they give up to Aaron Jones, even in a losing effort? And that the Browns are going to be pretty much running the ball, whatever. This game is, and this one has a lot of weirdness around it because, obviously we're projecting just a crushing weather game. Now it's in a dome. So I don't know what to think about this one. It is interesting to see it this high up. I agree. I don't think this is like a massive total for Nick Chubb either. And we're talking about one of the best pure rushers in the NFL. Right. So, I think that the Kareem Hunt factor always gets worked in with Chubb, and he loses a few touches, but it's interesting, man. Like, it's not one that I'm not going to go way off against the projections here and be like, you've got to play the Nick Chubb over, but it is one that I would be okay building around. Say you take the Nick Chubb over, maybe you look on the other side and you take the Josh Allen over with it, and you just play for this game to be, kind of a loose shootout in a dome. I mean, I think that's kind of what we're building towards here. Everyone's just, change of venue. I think this game is going to be kind of just a little bit nuts, because it's either going to be that or it's just going to be like dead boring, and these teams are going to be underprepared and the defenses are going to dominate. But even in that scenario, like maybe Nick Chubb is just the only guy who does anything. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind. Again, if you're one strategy that we always go here is trying to stack games, trying to grab a couple props from the same game. It just makes it easier on yourself. If Chubb goes over, probably means more passing on the other side, and you've taken care of 2 props instead of 1. So, yeah, we haven't projected as an under. You could just play it as a pure projection play. I get it, but we do also have a main slate here that I think we already went over some of these quarterback props, which are really strong. That's probably one, again, with Chubb. I would probably lean more towards other props around him than play it necessarily as an under.
Let's stay in that same game, because outside of Taylor Heineke going over his passing yards and an absolute just hammering there, 81.3% projection that we have on Stokastic, free, mind you, on Stokastic here for NHA, Isaiah McKenzie is pretty much a full reception over his projection there from 2.5 to 3.4. And just talking about game flow, that was a little surprising, right? He is the highest rated Bills player we have, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Just in terms of our probabilities. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it looks like as if you were playing something on that side, you mentioned Allen, which I think is great on the passing touch, or just the play on Allen to counter what we're talking about with Chubb. But, McKenzie there slides in at a projection of 3.4, which might be a pretty strong over to play.
Yeah, and it is. And it's again, I'm just looking at McKenzie's usage. It's up and down, and the slot receiver for the Bills does tend to kind of get, it's like these guys pop up for 7 catches and then they do nothing. That's kind of how Cole Beasley was too last year. So, but I think that when you really sit back and look at McKenzie's role on the team, again, there's no, he's basically the 3rd wide receiver. So there's going to be enough games here where I kind of get where this projection is. And I think it does fit great, again, if you were going to take, a move on Chubb as well. So, yeah, I don't really have a problem with that. Again, it's not what I'd call my favorite, but I think if you're targeting that game for Chubb to go over on his yardage, coming back with a McKenzie over, that actually does make a lot of sense. So,
all right, I'm going to go local here for me, just because having an idea of how my team works. And again, you should always be betting on your own team. Nobody knows more about your own team than you. AJ Brown is physically impaired this week. He looks to be playing through injury. Dallas Goedert is impaired. He ain't playing. So the Philadelphia Eagles are on the road against a team that they should be able to move the ball against in spurts, right? But they're also down 1.5 guys. I disagree with our projections in the sense that if I were to bet it or play it, I think this would be the week where you can make a sound argument that through wide receiver screens and deep shots, a guy like Quez Watkins can get 3 to 4 receptions, and you shouldn't be shocked. I get it. It's a very tight, sharp projection here, but this is one of those mid 60s to low 60, high 50s that we have on site that we always go back and forth on and say, yeah, I understand the reasoning there, but maybe this doesn't account for the AJ Brown injury and it's only accounting for Dallas Goedert, et cetera.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I just saw Quez's projection up there as you were talking, and definitely, again, you're looking. We don't have a Devonta Smith prop up that I can see, but really, we're talking about, like you said, AJ Brown not 100%. Maybe we get a little bit more Zach Pascal, but Watkins is the guy who's been on the field. He's been with Hurts for a couple of years now too, right?
Yes.
I mean, so like his snap count is pretty steady. I think that they will use him just a little bit more with Dallas Goedert out. I mean, I don't even know who their backup tight end is. They basically don't have a backup tight end. So like, and not in terms of a pass catching threat, right? So,
used to be Dick Rogers, but he's not here anymore.
Right. Old Rickard,
right. We had Dick Rogers, Dicker the kicker. I don't know what it is. A whole phallic thing going on with the Eagles.
Oh, go all the way back to Dick Vermeil.
Wow. Look at you. See, shame on me and Mike for not going straight to Vermeil.
That's right.
Big Dick Nick.
Oh my God.
Mike, come on. What is it about the phallic thing? It's the Philadelphia PH. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, Geoff. Here you are giving good information, and we've totally derailed.
No. I mean, I'm the one who brought up Dick Vermeil. But look, Quez Watkins, I'm with you here. I mean, we don't have the Devonta Smith to play.
It's a good
Brown,
point.
Questionable. Again, like his snaps have been steady. We haven't projected for 2 receptions too. So it's not like this is like a smash under where we think like, he's going to like maybe get 1 target here. He's definitely going to be on the field.
But it's circumstantial. You play it this week because Goddard's out and AJ Brown is not 100%. You don't play him right. Like that's what I was looking at.
It's kind of like a basketball play, like a usage, you know, a guy's going to get a bump because like, someone else is out. They're going to take some more 3-pointers or whatever. So exact same play there with Quez Watkins. It's a good one to point out because I don't even think we have an AJ Brown prop.
We don't have Brown. We don't have Devontae.
He's the only receiver, which is kind of funny.
Look, I would just go out right now and say, if you like, and we do this on the Discord and stuff, if you like to live on the edge here, this is a Quez Watkins anytime, Quez Watkins 2+ TD ladder day that probably won't hit. But you know what? Have some fun because you never know up top, etc.
I will be there with you. I love Quez Watkins. He's got that speed.
He does. You never know.
Break it for us. I love
we have a couple of minutes left, my friend. Where would you like to take us? And anywhere you want, your world.
Let's go to the Detroit Lions game because I think that. Well, I kind of think Detroit's going to win this game. I just like them as an upset pick. I like the line here. DeAndre Swift, interesting. I haven't checked Jamal Williams lately, but he's been sick this week in practice. DeAndre Swift, full practice this week, no injury designation. You're getting rumblings now that he's mad he's not getting touches. His rushing prop is 32.5, and the Giants are last in terms of yards per carries against. I think he goes over this. I think DeAndre Swift gets like 15 carries this week. And I think he goes over this. So I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown potentially is a good over target. We do have Amon-Ra St. Brown projected as a good over at 66.5, but we also actually have Swift projected for a basically neutral, like almost the same as his prop. So both these props looking low on these Detroit players. And really, you look at Detroit's offense. Again, we got to look and see what Jamal Williams is doing, but these are kind of the dudes for them. Like there's really no one else who's going to suck up a bunch of targets. So if Detroit's moving the ball and this game's close, like the yards are going to be there for both these guys. So I like both those plays. Not really sure how I'd want to play it on the other side. We have more juiced up props on Saquon and like Darius Slayton. I'm not sure if I'd come back with a play necessarily on the other side, but I do like the overs on both the Detroit guys. I think that this is a spot where they're going to be able to move the ball a bit. They've been a little bit better on offense, especially with St. Brown back. So
not bad. Did we leave anything out there? Gus Edwards rushing yards, I think Alec Pierce receiving yards. That could be a sneaky play, right? I don't know.
No, I mean, with Matt Ryan back, absolutely. Like, I mean, that's when Pierce was getting his the majority of his work. I think Pittman's going to be in a tough spot on the outside. And Gus Edwards, again, like 46.5. It's a good one to point out just at the end. That's a really low prop. I don't know what the usage is going to be necessarily, but I do know that Baltimore is going to be running the ball a ton against Carolina, like almost regardless of score. So we have that projected as a really strong over. I think it's a good one to point out.
Awesome. By the way, Quez Watkins plus 1,000, 2 touchdowns. Don't bet that. Don't bet that. Somebody nuked that. Somebody with a Discord of like 50,000 people told them to bet that, and it's been nuked. So don't bet it. Geoff, appreciate
It's
you.
true.
Always,
Not
man.
big enough.
Who are we rooting for this weekend? Who do you have to win? Cole Hammer? You have
Sadly,
Steele?
the Cowboys. Oh, for the golf?
Yeah. I just wanna know.
I got a little bit of money in play on Thigala, but my big guy, I'd really like Justin Sue to win this week, if I'm being dead honest. He's more back. He's still in it.
Okay, nice. My guy, well, Patrick Rogers, top 10 is not dead.
No,
Kevin
not at all.
Kisner, top
Nice
20 is not dead. But Luke List winning this fucking thing is dead. So on that note, have a great weekend, everybody. Make sure, again, you use our promo code Stokastic. We'll match your first deposit up to $50 right here on No House Advantage. For Geoff, for Mike, for Eytan, that's me. We'll see you all. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.